Launch sequence activated.
It's the Joel Comm Show, featuring internet pioneer, New York Times bestselling author, and international speaker, Joel Comm. Helping you grow your business, live life today, and do good stuff. Here's the man who isn't afraid of flying monkeys, your host, Joel Comm.
I ain't afraid of no monkey. Welcome, my friends. Thank you for coming and being here. Fun playing with some of the production options that we have here on Blab, and I'm excited to show you some of the things that I've got to arrive from Amazon today. But that's to come, because I want to share it with my guest today. And I know this is like a guy that needs no introduction, because we all know him. We all love him. We all secretly want to be him. The world's favorite millennial. Please welcome to the Joel Comm Show, my friend and yours, Mr. Brian Fanzo. And here he comes. Bring the love, iSocial. Bring it. Prop them up. That's what, when you give people props and they're trying to connect, that's what brings them in. It does. Just like hit them hard. I'm gonna hit him. Maybe if I tease him with what I've got here, it'll help him, because he's actually having a hard time. Come on, Brian, get in here.
What's up?
Whoop, there he is.
It's my first time on Blab. I was having technical difficulties.
You Blab newbie. Oh, we need a word for that.
Oh, what is the word for the Blab newbie?
A bluebie? No. Clearly that won't work.
That won't work. I don't think that's gonna fly.
Wait till you see what I got today. You ready?
You teased me with toys. I got excited before I even got on the air. That's rare.
It just arrived. Like, while the music was playing, I went and unboxed it. I knew what it was, but I had to unbox it so I could show you.
Ooh, is that a new mixer?
It's a mixer, bro. It is a Xenix Q802 premium 8-input 2-bus mixer with Xenix mic preamps, compressors, British EQs, a Walt, and USB audio interface. So I can jack my mic, my music, and instead of using this to play music on the show, we can run it right through the mixer.
So, serious FOMO. This millennial has FOMO for you, old man. That is awesome. I love it.
What did you just call me?
Wise man. Sorry, it was a Freudian slip.
That's good, because I have there's a little X right under my finger, and this show can end really quick if you call me old man again. Ted Rubin tried to get away with it, and he's older than me.
That was kind of fun. And then I threw Brian Kramer under the bus, and then I realized now Brian Kramer's probably closer to my age. So yeah, it's fun times.
He's kind of like the in-between guy. They're wanting to know, is my mic hooked up to my PC? Yeah, I'm actually broadcasting from my PC. I am not Mac is it? Oh, PC is it, guys? Look, they both have their uses. And as a gamer, you got to have a PC. And if I want to be more productive, especially when I'm on the road, I need to use a Mac.
Yeah, you know what? I always say, for me, in cyber, Windows kept me employed, Mac kept me happy, but I say do whatever makes you happy.
So I almost wore my Meerkat shirt today. That would have been creepy, scary, weird.
Well, I figured you had your Meerkat sometime would make an appearance. Therefore, I had to make the appearance of my Meerkat on that side. So there he is.
The Meerkat is always nearby.
I remember the first day I was with you, the first day that Meerkat made an appearance and landed from Courtney's lap to your lap. So I remember it fondly back in the early days of Meerkat way back then.
Right. South by. We were using Meerkat before South by launched. And I'm still a fan. And honestly, between Meerkat and Periscope, I'm still going to say Meerkat is a better platform for me.
I say it's each their own. I think right now, it's funny because the brands that I talk to, the features that are available on Meerkat far outweigh the features available especially for brands on Periscope. So I don't think you're alone in that statement at all.
So everybody's talking about Blab. I don't want to talk about Blab. I want to grab our crystal ball, right? Let's get the crystal balls out and let's prognosticate. But before we do that, everybody over there, you know where it is, the blue button. Tell the little bird, unless you're on mobile, in which case it's down there. And if you're neither on mobile or computer and you're like standing out in the middle of somewhere, just go, Joel Comm and Brian Fanzo are on. That's like as close as you can get to tweeting if you don't have a button, right?
No button. You must tweet out loud or go for walks like Joel Comm does and tell the world.
That would make a funny video if like somebody shot a dude like giving status updates just as he's walking around the city and through the mall or something. I think that would be good. I'll be a fan. That you'd be a Fanzo. Hey, how come you don't have brianfanzo.com?
I do have brianfanzo.com, but I don't use it. I use iSocialFans. So for me, it's all about consistency. So I own brianfanzo.com.
But it's a 404.
Yeah, because I don't have anything up on it. Yeah, and I just like I have Brian Fanzo Twitter account, which is just an egg as well.
You are an egghead.
I am an egghead on brianfanzo.com, and it gets tagged pretty regularly. I'm pretty good at engaging people out of that handle and letting them know that I'm on iSocialFans.
Cool. So can I make a recommendation?
Yes, sir.
I would recommend just like putting up a one page, almost like an about.me, or redirect brianfanzo.com to about.me.
I should redirect. That would be
it's just one more way for people to find you who are looking for you, and they might not know you as iSocial fans.
Good point.
Yeah. So there you go.
I'm going to take that. And who thought that I was joining your show and wasn't going to learn something?
That is my gift to all of you today. Receive it, embrace it, hug it.
I will even fill you up for that because it was that awesome. I see that Jed is already filling you up.
Give me props. There you go. Thanks for the props, and thank you all for being here. This is what I call good stuff because out of all the younger generation of people out there who are doing this, nobody is more engaged, more enthused, more on fire, and more on top of it than my friend iSocial Fans. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation with you here today. I did call him a kid. If he can call me an old man, I can call him a kid.
I will own it. That's for sure. I'm okay. Wait. And the surprising part was the lady today at lunch. She said she looked at me and I had a Dave Matthews shirt on. She's like, "There is no way you are old enough to know what Dave Matthews was." And I looked at her. I'm like, "How old do you think I am?" She goes, 23, maybe 24. And I was like, "Well, no, let's flip that. I'm 34, so I'm not as young as I. This crystal, my face for radio might make people believe."
So you're 34, which means if I had gotten a very early start, I'm old enough to be your father.
Oh, Daddy Joel.
Because I got 17 years on you, but I'm 34 here.
You are, my friend. And anybody who has anything to do with the iFart, I believe will always be young at heart.
Eternally youthful and gassy. So let's I want to make sure that everybody here today is not just here to hang out. I want to, deliver content. I want to make sure as we're approaching 100 viewers, you guys bring all your friends near because we're going to drop some knowledge. I don't know where it's going to come from, but it's going to drop. Hopefully it doesn't drop on your head. See what I did there?
I did. Well,
let's be forward thinking, right? Because there's guys that sit around in some of these big companies. I was thinking about this today while I was driving, and I'm like, all right, so the people that are working for Facebook and Google and Uber, they have think tanks of people that they sit there and go, all right, where's this going in 5 years? Where's this going in 10 years? And so I want to turn this into that. I don't want to do an interview with you. I want us to like mind meld, and I want you guys that are here watching us today to be thinking about this as well, because as we bring you on, we want your perspective on where you think this is going. So are you periscoping or
meerkatting? Periscoping. Periscoping is up and live. I had to reboot my phone, so we're a little late.
Hello, scopers of the world, I come in peace. So, and if you're, one of the things I like to do when I use Meerkat and Periscope is tell people to come over here to the show. So if you are watching on Scope and you want to see the big picture, blab.im/Joel Comm is where you will find us. Okay, so get the crystal ball out, and welcome to all of you who are here, including Kim Garst that just hopped into the room.
Oh, she just got off a wonderful interview with our man Vincenzo Landino. She was dropping knowledge bombs left and right about social selling, why brands suck at some of the aspects of live streaming. So I love Kim Garst. Kim Garst is
one of my heroes. In fact, Kim, you don't know this, but I just bought one of your books. One of your ebooks on Facebook page content, because I wanted to see how you took what I see you doing and how consistent it was with what you're teaching, and it is exactly consistent, 100%. What she is teaching people, she is doing, and I love that when you see people walking the walk as well as talking the talk.
Well, and that's I always say, if you want to complain about Facebook and all the bad things, just watch Kim Garst, because she has great organic reach. Because guess what? She cares. She's engaged. She provides great value. I think everyone else could take a great lesson from that. And I think that's kind of it's a missing art, right? We just blame Facebook for all of a sudden making us paid. Well, if you do it right and you get rewarded like someone like Kim does, so I love seeing it. And thank you, Kim, for jumping in.
And she says, no need to buy, I'd give it to you. And I know you wouldn't. Even as I'm buying it, I thought that. But you know what? You deserve to earn from the labor you have. And I like to go buy people's stuff when I'm interested. I don't like going to ask for it for free, because you that's your bread and butter. And what was like $7 or something. I'm like, here's my $7. So let's make this intensely valuable for everybody here. I want everybody here to imagine that this is a group mastermind right now. And I want everybody to walk away from our time together here with collective minds blown because of what we see coming in the future. So I'm going to put you on the spot here, Brian. You could take it any direction you want. You can go a year from now, you can go 5 years, 10 years. But what I want to do is get us thinking about opportunities we have to get involved and create or do something that will prepare us for what's to come.
Wow. You just going to start up there. I love it. I've been toting this line, and I firmly believe it, that the future of business is community and the future of marketing is social good. And, I think that's an element where I think, a lot of the things that we're talking about, a lot of these platforms, there you go, do good stuff right there, Mr. Sir. Yes. And shout out to Subi Zimmerman. We're both rocking the Subi Zimmerman signs there behind us. But I firmly believe in it, really, the idea that, no matter what we're doing, if you understand your community, if you listen, we're creating content. If you just solve your community's problems, if you actually just listen to them, create content that solves their problems, that's what it's all about. I think for whatever reason, we became a little bit distant from that as we got more digital. And I think now it's coming full circle, as now we are understanding that this platform just allows me and Joel Comm to talk to the world and share our story and engage with people. It's not about Blab, the technology. It's about the experience we're able to actually have. And that's what this is about. And I think if you focus on community, experience, and doing good stuff, I think that is where this all starts. So to me, the technology is the vehicle, but is not the end game.
Let me be heretical for a moment, okay? And everybody,
please do.
Everybody here listening can have a collective gasp when I say this. But let's say in some alternate universe that we hope doesn't exist, something happens to Blab tomorrow. The plug is pulled. It's offline. What do we do?
I think we go back to what we know is best, right? We have to bridge our communities. And that's actually, I got in a nice debate with John Loomer last night about really the idea of earned media. And I tell you what, he broke Blab last night all because of his email newsletter. It had nothing to do with social media. But I think part of this is really, I built a community. I think if you start with a community, you don't really care what comes and goes. Your community is going to follow you. And I'm proof of that. I'm newer on the scene. I'm, the most popular thing I get asked is, where the hell did you come from? Not usually what is my age, but usually where the hell did I come from? And I think part of that for me that I've been so successful with is that, my community is I'm so thankful that they really support and engage me. So when Meerkat came on, and then Periscope came on, and then Blab came, for me, I didn't have to sell anybody on anything. I said, hey, this is why I'm using it. This is where I'm at. Come engage with me. And people came. It's like, and I don't think it's if you build it, they will come. If you care, they will come, right? And I think it's a little bit different than, because I think before we used to be able to build a Google Plus community and a LinkedIn group, but now it's people want to feel like they're a part of something, not just, it's more of a community, less of a network today. And so even if Blab happens to blow up and heaven forbid something happened in that case, for me, it's a matter of, okay, where can my community get some more value? And it might be more Periscopes. It might be going back to putting a TV behind my head and doing interviews like I was circa 2 months ago. But to me, it's a very interesting discussion.
You would find a place to go. Well, we're going to get really specific with that, because I'm going to challenge you to actually have a plan. What I'm going to do right now, though, rather than ask you guys to tweet a little bird, I'm putting a tweet that I just made in the chat stream. I want you to go there and retweet that, because it's got the photo, and I want to do a test here to see if by retweeting it with the photo in there, we actually are able to have greater pull. So I'm gonna paste it one more time. Don't leave the room, but go click and retweet that and quote tweet if you want to. And have you tried that yet, Fanzo? Have you tried sending people directly to a tweet from a stream here?
So Kristen Cardos, the community manager on all of my awesome communities, she was actually doing click to tweets inside of there, and actually having it open up with a click to tweet inside of the comments section. So we've done that a couple times, and it has good and bad side. But I can tell you, Social Business Hour, my show on Mondays, it trended US wide, and it was all done on Blab, and it's all because of Tell a Little Bird and the engagement on Twitter. So I don't think this takes away from it. I love the experience for sure.
Cool. Okay, so let's be more specific, because your answer, while true, is kind of generic. I want you to be specific. Blab closes down. Do you notify everybody on Twitter, I'm going over to Google Hangouts to do this because it's the next best thing, or am I going to stream on Periscope, or am I going to is there another service that is similar in some way? What do you do?
For me, I educate my audience and I bridge them to where I need to be. So I would go back to Hangouts, right? And I would go back to Hangouts because for me, I run monetized shows. I believe in the power of collaboration. So that's kind of where I would end up driving a lot of the people to. But I can tell you, it wouldn't be just one platform I would let them know. I would have an Instagram graphic. I would have it on LinkedIn. I would tell them on a Periscope. I would tell them on a Meerkat. I would post it to my Facebook page, because to me, it's all about letting my audience know where they can find that next experience. And so, yes, I probably would go back to Google Hangouts. That does give me a little bit of the chills, because I don't want to go back there.
Right. I mean, that's kind of funny you said that. Like, oh, Hangouts. No.
It's crazy because I've loved Hangouts and I've loved Google Plus for a long while. I just think, I think it's sad that they just kind of disconnected from the community. They didn't listen to their power users like the Martin Shervingtons or Mia Voss or Dustin Stout, or those that were crushing it on there. And unfortunately, because they didn't listen, when the next best shiny object came up that was listening, Joel, you and I know that. The reason that we love Blab has little to do with the technology. It has so much to do about the community and the people behind it. And the fact that I never had a face with Google. No one ever asked me, Brian, you're monetizing your Google Hangouts. What can we do that would make it better? And you know what? Blab asks that. I think that's just a telltale sign of the future of apps. No matter how big or small, you have to care about the community, or you're going to have a short shelf life.
Yeah, I totally concur. So what else does your crystal ball say? Let's community, great. Let's talk specific, the things that you think we're going to be able to do in maybe 5 years that we want to do now, but we can't do now.
I think we're going to see the idea of big brands collaborating with big brands. And doing it in a transparent way, not just announcing that Cisco is now teamed up with IBM. We're going to now put things out there and let people see, and because innovation today isn't really about just being innovative, right? Innovation doesn't happen just by one person going into a think tank or into a white room. The power of innovation is the power of multiple people coming together from collaboration perspective. So for me, I think the idea of video collaboration between big brands doing innovative things in conferences around the world, connecting people no matter where you're at, and being able to get the smartest people in the room to innovate. Like, let's cure cancer. Let's get everybody that is working on curing cancer in the same social business tool and let's get them all on Slack, right? And it sounds kind of funny, but why are we working in all these silos and all of these different worlds when together we can make better change and faster change if we're working together. So to me, that's a big one. I also kind of think of the idea that we're going to talk a lot less about offline, online, and we're going to talk a lot more about what we can do just as humans engaging. Like, Joel, you and I talk on a daily basis. If it's Facebook Messenger, a Twitter DM, a text message, video chat,
but no Snapchat.
No Snapchat for you. I am a Snapchataholic right now. I absolutely love Snapchat, but that's
you
a whole
and
nother
Teddy.
story.
You and Ted Rubin.
I know. I got him hooked on it. But of course he makes me jealous. He sits on the beach every day. Like,
I know.
I want to be Ted Rubin now.
He doesn't actually do anything. We love you, Ted.
Oh man. But no, I'm excited to see the future be a lot less about the device and a lot more about the experience.
And on that note, since we're talking community, let's bring people in. I'm unlocking the seats, and let's cycle through, like, make a comment, a prediction, an idea, ask a question, and then let's open it up. I want to get as many people in here as possible. Welcome, Mark. How you doing, brother?
Hey man, Brian. So
Hey,
cool.
Mark.
We live too close to each other now. Man, we got to do it in real life. Okay.
I agree. Let's do it.
Let's get that scheduled. I will drive to anywhere.
Thanks, Mark.
To spend some time with you. Okay, here's my question for you, Brian. You just mentioned Snapchat. Okay, Stone Temple Consulting. We work with major brands. Like, they totally don't even get this, but they're really not going to get that. Where's the opportunity for a big brand in Snapchat?
So for me, Snapchat is that there's this element of the stories aspect, right? So it's a one-to-many relationship. And for me, it's about captured attention. Right now, it's so hard to get that captured attention, to get someone to read a blog post and not just put it in their read later app, or to actually. So the fact that, like, the FOMO aspect of live streaming is pretty exciting, right? This replay is going to disappear after 24 hours. It gets people to consume it now rather than later. The aspect of Snapchat is that it's a one-to-many relationship outwards, but it's a one-to-one relationship backwards. And what I mean by that is everything you post on Snapchat, when someone replies and snaps you back, it's a one-to-one. Nobody else sees that. So it becomes a very personalized experience. So, for example, Taco Bell at the MTV Music Awards, never once did they talk about a burrito. Never once did they talk about Taco Bell or the dog. But what they did is they gave you a red carpet experience that you could not get anywhere else. And I can tell you, I started talking about Taco Bell all over my feeds and all over my channels because they were giving me access to an experience that was very, very personalized. And to me, that's kind of the game there. The problem is that the data is hard to tell, right? You can tell people have watched it, but it really doesn't go any further than that. But I do believe my friend Nick Cicero is working with a couple companies to come up with some better Snapchat analytics. But I think it comes down to that. It's that building that relationship and hopefully encouraging personalization in that one-to-one conversation.
Love it.
Thanks, my man. We'll connect.
Thanks, Mark. Catch you later. Hey, welcome, George. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're loud and clear. You're looking good, brother. What's up?
Beautiful. So here's the deal. I know this is the Fanzo hour, and I have some way different answers than what we just listened to for a while. So I don't know if I should express my thoughts on what we talked about.
Hit it. This is what community is all about. Let's have a discussion.
So here's the deal. The first thing I want to do is I want to tell a little story, and it's kind of a funny story. And it was Christmas time a couple years ago, and the family was sitting around a room, and we all had our cell phones out, and we would be punching our thumbs, we'd be doing a little thing, and we'd text somebody. All of a sudden, our phone would ding back, and we'd obviously text us back. And my dad looked at us and he said, now he's old school. You got to realize that. But he looked at me and said, hey, what are you guys doing? And I said, well, we're texting somebody, and then they text us back. He goes, wow, that's really cool. Because one of these days, somebody's going to invent something that you can actually pick up, and you can call them and you can hear their voice. Now,
what do we call that thing?
I don't know. I can't even find that icon on my iPhone. It's like on page 6. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. So I tell that story for one reason, and that's because at some level, technology surpassed our being human, right? And fundamentally, what I think is happening with Blab is that technology is actually not skyrocketing forward, but it's stepping back a few steps and allowing us to be human online in a way that was surpassed because we went so dang fast to get to the next thing. And so you talk about what are you going to see in the future? And what I think you're going to see in the future is a community that is seamless communication. So imagine, if you will, a blab scenario with, and as much as I dislike the Google glasses, but imagine a blab scenario where it's Google glasses or a different type of device, or take away the screens and boxes and imagine even technology that we can't even fathom yet, but this communication upsurgence that has happened thus far, that's what I'm talking about, right? And now I got one more thing. Joel, you said, what would you do next? Like, what would you tell your community?
Right.
Okay, this is what I would do. I would go to the closest www.getfunding, come join me here, give me money platform. And I would say, hey, for all of you folks that already have tasted the gateway drug that is Blab, we're going to build a brand new one and use everything that we've learned and make it better. Meet us over here, and then we would rebuild this awesome communication device that is
we can rebuild it
anywhere and move forward.
Make it better. But it's going to be just for people like me that need to lose a few pounds, and we're going to call it Flab.
There you go.
I like it. Thanks, George. Appreciate your input.
I love the insight. Very good.
Let's see. We got Ari is. Oops, sorry, Ari. I clicked the wrong place. Eric, I'm going to bring you in. Ari, go ahead and click that again. And Eric, check your audio. If we're still getting feedback, I can't keep you on there. But is it Ari? Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, I'm in a Starbucks, so maybe it's not good today.
That's go ahead and mute yourself. Click the speaker in the lower left corner.
Yeah, I'll just get out. Okay, so
okay,
I'll come back.
Talk to me, Ari.
Before you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Eric, he was a little loud here in the background. By the way, great discussion you guys have here. And one of the things that, for me, that deals a lot with the hotels and when it comes to these new tools that comes out here with the live streaming, particularly now about from Meerkat, Periscope, and now Blab. And some of the things that Brian was mentioning, it's just like the engagement part is important, but in a hotel world, that's not really kind of making the juice really flow. When I deal with the hotel owners and decision makers, what really get them going is of typically revenue, occupancy, and their ROI. When we start seeing some better tools for when we talk about the future here that will help us kind of better see a discussion like we have now here on Blab, how that can kind of relate back to, for example, a booking at the hotel or something similar, that this will actually bring more of the guests coming to, for example, an event that they might have at a hotel or whatever is going on.
Okay, I'm gonna let Brian answer that, and we're gonna let you listen over there. Thanks for the question.
So what do you think? I think the future. I think data. Let's make no mistake. Any app you're using for free, you're paying with your data. And I think the data there is super important. The data is a game changer. So like in a hotel industry, I talked about this at South by Southwest. Joel, you and I were there. I went to check in at the South by Southwest at the hotel. The hotel guy was standing there at the Hilton said, "I'm so sorry to hear you couldn't find your bags at first." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "I'm so sorry I saw you tweeted out that you were mad that you couldn't find your bags." And I was like, and I literally grabbed his TV screen and was like, "What are you looking at?" And he had a customer service platform that served him up that information. He wasn't on Twitter, but because my Twitter account was associated with my Hilton account, and they had saw that I had tweeted in the area, that prompted that guy's information there. That is data that made it a better customer experience for me. So I think apps like Meerkat, Periscope, Blab, analytics are going to be key, but really getting people the data they need to actually provide them value, right, and make an active decision. So everybody talks about real time. Screw the real time. I want it at the right time. And that was the right time. I didn't have to have that customer service guy at the front desk staring at Twitter all day, but he got served up the information and the data at the right time to present it to me and provide me a great experience. So to me, that's how that kind of works. But what's up, Travis? Travis, great Inc. article, my friend. You rocked it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What's up, Trav?
Hey, it's a beautiful day, guys. I appreciate that, both of you.
Your audio is not on, my brother.
Go-to article.
We cannot read your lips. It might be me. Are you good?
I can hear him. Hear him.
Go ahead.
You hear me?
As you are, my friend.
Go ahead, Travis. I got you.
Excellent. No, so thank you for that. And yeah, Joel, great article for people who are trying to get started on Blab that you put out today as well. Good stuff. We
Thank
are
you.
3 Blab article writers in the room at this moment.
That's right. We are Blab ready in here, aren't we?
We are. And when's the ROI back from Blab? Where's Sean and Furkan? We're the ones writing the articles, getting some adoption here. I love it.
Yeah, especially, last night it was amazing watching you guys, Fanzo, you guys were sitting there, all 4 of you, and you had the record Blab last night. It was just unbelievably fascinating how John Loomer sent out a message to his list, and all of a sudden, boom, it went from like 50 people to 200 plus. It's like that. It was amazing.
Yes.
The power of email marketing has never been demonstrated in any form like that to me. I was blown away.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff. I want to show you guys something if I can get this to work here. Let's see, putting in trying a little mini cam feature that is supposed to allow me to. Yeah, I'm going to pull this up here. This is a scene from Minority Report. And you don't have to hear it, but Tom Cruise is walking through the mall and the brands are talking to him, right? They're talking to people as they walk by because they're tracking, and they've indicated that we know what you want. And Mr. Smith, your pants are in, and we know that you like this type of soda, and so we're going to pitch it to you. And is this where we're headed?
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, think about it. Personalization. I mean, I was at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, and when you signed up on your app, they had the beacon technology, right? I love that beacon technology. It blows. If I walk by a store and I added something to my list on Evernote, it should know when I walk by the store and say, "Hey, dummy, you're gonna go pick up that piece that product at Home Depot that you just drove by." Like, I mean, if you already have the data, why not serve it up to me in a personalized form if I'm willing to do that, right? I'm on the bleeding edge. I give all of my data. I'm extremely transparent. I'm okay with kind of the risk versus reward there. I know that's not for everybody, but at the same time, that personalization that you showed there in Minority Report, I love it. That just gives me, if you make it easier for me to buy, better for experience, that means I get to spend more time with my kids. You know what? And that's what matters to me. So I'm going to give up a little bit of that risk, a little bit of that data, so you can give me a more personalized experience. I say bring it on.
Brian G. Johnson in the house. What's up, brother?
Hey, man, just digging the chat, and it's good to see you again, Brian. Here's the future. The future is
poodles. The future is poodles.
Well, we've got poodles. That is true. We've got pixie dust. We've got some of that too. But the future is Twitter. That's weird.
Go on.
The future is. Well, I'm going. You don't need to encourage, but I just see, as far as what's happening with Blab, there is a resurgence, man. It is happening. And I talked about this a few days ago with the ability to come on and connect and share on a more intimate level, to be able to be just who we are. And someone earlier was talking about, like, we can be that person now. We've always been that person, but we haven't had a freaking platform that's allowed us to share together. I've been a huge advocate of video forever. YouTube back in 2007, I remember waiting for this because I don't want to be Technical Joe. I don't want to be the guy that's trying to figure out all the whiz bang stuff. And being able just to record on this, upload to YouTube, that was cool. That was like step one. And then Google Hangouts came along and people were excited. It's like, wow, what can we do with Hangouts? But for me personally, I was just never like, who cares? I was never excited, but something happened with Blab, and I think that's what's happening. I think the future is Blab. Whether Joel, whether Brian, whether it's going to blow up and be huge, who knows? I see a few limitations that worry me, like how many other people can come on, how many people can create an engaging show. You have to be on top of it. You have to have skills and abilities. You have to manage people. You have to manage mics, and it's not easy. However, there is an opportunity for people to come in and also be participants. So my thing right now is, how is that going to unfold? I don't have all the answers, but I want to be here when it goes down.
Well, along those lines, take a look at this chart from Twitter Counter. Twitter might be flatlining overall, but that light blue line, I can't tell which way it's showing. Is it going upwards, or do I need to flip it? Okay.
You're right.
So this is the light blue line are my followers on Twitter since I started using Blab. And it wasn't that it wasn't going up before, but it was very minor compared to what I'm seeing right now. So in some respects, I agree, Brian, that that Twitter is getting an infusion. Thanks for your question, buddy. Good to see you. I'm going to open it up and let somebody jump in. And Travis, I'm not sure if I cut you off. Did you have something else that you wanted to say?
Yeah, when you were talking about, especially how Brian was talking about, omni-channel marketing and how personalization is happening now. I spend a lot of my mind share in that space, and I deal with a lot of different marketing technologies and helping companies figure out which marketing technologies they need to use for their stack to be more effective. And what I'm noticing is, well, for one, if you look at advertising as a whole industry, there are 198 million people online that block all ads, right? So that's data from Adobe. And so if you look at that, there's a whole generation of people, it's just a whole huge demographic that aren't seeing your ads. So you really need to be effective in what you are doing. And so that's where content marketing comes into play. But when you're talking about omni-channel marketing, and I'm not just talking about online, I'm talking about offline. I'm talking about your kiosks. I'm talking about your ATMs. I'm talking about your you're boarding a plane, your mobile apps, all that stuff communicating together and being able to stitch those profiles together so that when a person is logged in on mobile, and if you're at Home Depot and you go into a Home Depot, with beacons, they're going to be able to track you and your activities based on what you've done and where you visited online. This is already happening. And, one of the tools that's phenomenal in this space that does a lot of this stuff really well is called Insighten, and that's ENSIGHTEN.
Maybe somebody put that link in there so people can click that.
It's an enterprise level tool, but it's a tag management system that you can deploy all your marketing technologies through. And that's what's important, is being able to have a system where you can plug everything through it so then you can track all that data, you can collect all that data, and then you can act on that data in a personalized fashion. And that's where it's headed, and that's where I spend a lot of my time, and just understanding it, because I'm kind of like you in a little ways, Joel, where I see things where they're headed. And so I always want to get out in front of it, and I want to absorb as much of that information as possible so I can learn as much so I can then, help my clients with it and whatnot. So a lot of interesting stuff going on in that space for sure.
Excellent, man. Appreciate the input. Thanks, Travis. You rock for more reasons than I could enumerate here. Brian, do you want to reply to that? And while we're doing that, I'm sharing something here in the chat. If you'll go click that and retweet it, it's got the photo attached, and we can introduce more people to Brian Fanzo.
Thanks. No, I think Travis is on a good point. I love that brands are seeking out people like him to provide insights on what are the best tools to use marketing correctly, right? I think right now we're still in this essence where we look at tools to solve problems that aren't solvable by tools. And when you look at someone like Travis is taking a bigger picture, right? A holistic view on it. I do that same kind of similar thing when it comes to, hey, how do I engage my community best? Is it Snapchat? Is it live streaming? Is it a Twitter chat? Is it a podcast? Is it one of all of those pieces and finding a place to start? So to me, it's exciting for people to kind of push forward this personalization aspect. So I love it. And good morning, Pam. Pam's early morning over there.
Hi, Pam. Welcome. Before you jump in, Pam, let me just say I could reach.
It's 7:30 in the morning in Sydney, and
go ahead, Pam.
Firstly, I love the idea of what you're doing, Joel. And Brian, I saw you last night drinking with the boys. It was hilarious. Now, my question to you guys is: I left Twitter about 2 years ago and went over to Facebook. It wasn't working for me as a platform. So my question to you is, I love what Joel did now by putting that sort of tweet link in there and getting people. But Brian, you're the man, so I hear. Now I know who you are. You're the man. Can you tell me how to leverage this live streaming on Twitter? Because now I've come back to Twitter, and I really want to know, as a brand and a business, how to leverage what we're doing.
So I love that.
Here
Great. I love that question. And to me, the fact that you're asking that question means you already understand that kind of connection. For me, it's continuing the conversation. We can't be on live stream all day, every day, as much as we might want to be. But to me, it's about continuing that conversation and that relationship. So it's about, hey, if I'm connecting with you on here, let's connect on Twitter. If someone asks a good question, and I'll give a shout out, Sarah Moore is in here, and Sarah Moore does it really well. She goes back into some of her periscopes as well, and we'll go back and see who else engaged, reach out to them on Twitter and say, hey, thank you for engaging with me on Periscope. That was a great question. I probably got 13 or 14 messages this morning from people that said, hey, I loved your content in Blab. I never was able to ask you that question. So to me, Twitter does end up being the glue for that, all of those conversations kind of come along, but it does take work. And I will tell you this, Twitter is not the same Twitter it was 2 years ago. We have a new Twitter. We're kind of dealing with, to me, the effort you put in is really where the value you get out of Twitter. I love Facebook. I love these other platforms, but Twitter has changed my life with the relationships I've been able to build because I don't have to already know somebody. I'm able to connect with people on Twitter because of a hashtag or because they found me on live streaming without having to be, Joel Comm doesn't have to introduce me to somebody on Twitter. I'm connected with them because we have a shared passion and a shared purpose. And that to me is the game changer that is Twitter. It's really about bridging that conversation and extending it. I mean, getting people, I always say when I sign off, follow me at iSocialFans on Twitter. It's not because I want to build more followers, but it's because I want to continue the conversation after I hit stop broadcast.
Right. And do you think it's a good idea to carry the conversation over to create a hashtag if you're on here regularly so that you can follow it in a stream on like Hootsuite and do that?
There is nothing more powerful than Twitter listening. And if you're doing Twitter listening right, you can push people to a hashtag. You can push people to a hashtag for your event. You can push just a hashtag just for the conversation you're having. I always say for my podcast, I say, if you want to ask me a question, use Smack Talk as the hashtag. Well, it's very easily for them to do that. I don't get a ton of response, but I put it in a column on Hootsuite, and then I monitor that content, monitor that conversation. Make it simple. I really think you have to make it simple for people to get a hold of you. That's why, for me, it's like, hey, connect with me on Twitter, either use a hashtag or tweet at me, the right person, but you also have to be forward thinking. I listen for my first name, last name on Twitter. I listen for my Twitter handle misspelled. So iSocialFanzo, because my last name's Fanzo, not Fans. I have a column for all of those. And when someone tweets there, they want to be heard. I want them to know that I'm listening. So I listen on all of those different types of variables.
That's great. Hey,
I love it. Thank you so much. And
great to see you.
Thank you,
somebody asked what my lighting was in here, and really it's just room lighting. There's an overhead light, and then I've got a stand-up, a 6-foot light over here, and I'm going to be changing my setup a little bit. But I think Sanjay's lighting is best of all right now. With the
looking good, Sanjay.
How you doing, man?
Guys. Look, Brian, I follow you on Periscope, and you just raised a really good question, which has been bugging me for a long time, and that is I see Twitter like a freeway, right? You're standing at the edge of the freeway and cars are zooming past. So how are you engaging with people? How do you actually have a conversation with people? Because, we're all busy. We've got businesses or whatever we're doing. When do you have the time and what platforms can you use so that you can track people and say, hey, Sanjay sent me a note. How do you do that? Now, I know you are very good at it, which is why the question.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot because I work really hard at it, and it's not easy. For me, I use TweetDeck. TweetDeck is my favorite tool for active engagement. There's a browser version. If you're on Chrome, if you have a Mac, there's actually a client. And TweetDeck allows me to create columns for different Twitter lists, for different mentions. I can even use variables. So I can say if someone uses the hashtag Periscope and the word social media, let me see it in a column. So I do a lot of that. But I actually, when I work with a brand or a thought leader and they say, hey, I don't have that much time, I take about 30 minutes to curate content each day, right, on what's going on. But then I find little pockets of time to engage. So if you're waiting at the doctor's office or you're on hold for a conference call and you're listening to that horrible elevator music, why not grab your phone, reply to a couple tweets, say thank you to that engagement. To me, the pockets of time make it to where I don't have to stare at my Twitter feed all day long. And surprisingly for most, I don't stare at my Twitter feed all day long, but I do find those pockets of time, and it takes a lot of effort to do that. And I also, the last thing, tweak your notifications. For me, the notifications I get on my phone are different than when I get on my laptop. So on my laptop, I get a notification every single time someone tweets with that mentions me, because I can tweak, I can manage that. It won't disrupt me from what I'm doing. But on my phone, I actually only want certain people's notifications. So I actually have like a if this then that recipe that actually allows, if you're not in this Twitter list, it doesn't notify me, because I don't want it to direct disrupt me on my mobile device. So to me, it's a little bit of tweaking, but I can tell you, I'm creating a Twitter class now. It's the name of it is to take lurkers to power users, because right now the tools that are available on the Twitter UI and the basic tools are not enough to do those things that I'm talking about. So I actually love TweetDeck would be my easy answer for that question.
Yeah, look, I was just going to say, do you have a course or something? Because I've tried to use Hootsuite, which if I had a PhD, I still wouldn't be able to crack it, I think. It's so confusing. And then I see you, and I have engaged with you on Twitter, and I find it remarkable because you have thousands of followers, but you get back to me, and I'm going, how the hell is this guy doing it? Does he have like a band of VAs that are going, okay, on behalf of?
No, I am lucky that for my shows that I host, I do have a community manager. Kristen Karjos and my co-host Rachel Miller are in this chat right now. But for all of my engagement, it's all coming from me. I tell you what, if you look at the percentages, you'd be surprised. About 65% is from a mobile device. So I find those pockets of time to do a lot of my engagement from my mobile phone. And that's why when I dropped my phone a week and a half ago, it was like DEF CON in my world, because I do so much of my engagement off of that platform. So no, I appreciate that, though. That means a lot to me, that and I appreciate the engagement. To me, that's the power of Twitter.
Hey, thanks, Sanjay. Glad you jumped in. I sent you a follow and hope to see you around. Those of you just tuning in, you're watching the Joel Comm Show with my special guest at iSocialFans, Brian Fanzo. You want to make sure you follow him, and in the chat column, giving you a tweet that you can go ahead and retweet, because it's got a picture of Brian and my smiling face, which I think is more effective than just telling a little bird. And this is the first time I've done this. So Jacob Curtis is with us. Hey, Jake, how's it going?
Oh, can't hear you.
Turn your mic on there.
Oh, hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right. Oh, it's my first time too, so I think everyone gets a little mulligan, right?
Yeah, you get plenty of mulligans. I mean, what's up, Jacob? It's been too long, my friend.
I know. Hello. Definitely glad we have a platform like this now, to where I think everybody's really been waiting for something like this. This is like a conference or a networking party that's happening all the time, so it only is right, and it only makes sense that people like Joel and you and Rachel and everybody else is kind of over here too. So Eileen, I felt the props. Thanks for that. So my
Even Brogan was here this morning.
Who was that?
So I brought Chris Brogan on last week, and he's kind of like, the whole live streaming thing, I don't know. And then I get a text from Michael Stelzner at 9 a.m. this morning. I'm still in bed because that's what I do. He's like, Brogan is on. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I jump on, and he's got, I can't remember the guy's name, the business author.
Wasn't it Tyler Anderson?
No. It was a business author, and I just had a brain. Tucker.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, people are jumping in. Anyway, Jake, go ahead.
Yeah. So my question here, Brian, you and I are both huge advocates of community, and more importantly, the community manager. And that's something I feel that isn't really represented very well in a lot of digital marketing articles, blogs. It's all about content marketing and ads and this and this and this. And I really don't feel a lot of the love for the community manager, or feel that people have that necessity for the person who's in the trenches, social listening, as you mentioned, responding back to the fans. So my question here, before I hop off, is as far as Blab's concerned, how can you see a brand's community manager utilizing this tool for social good, or for engaging on a deeper level with their community? And follow up to that is, do you feel, because Joel Comm obviously has his own community, and he's his own community manager, but he's also a persona. He's an individual. He's a personality. So does something like Blab only work for him communicating with this community? Or do you feel that, say, a brand manager's community manager can then jump on this and maybe give some examples of maybe some things you maybe thought about doing?
No, I love that. Great question. And to me, that is so powerful. And a community manager, it's funny. It's the role that we say, we want you to be the face of the company. We want you to be the first touch point for all of our clients, our customers, and everyone else. We want you to be the engager. We want you to tell our story. We want you to be social selling. And, oh, by the way, we're going to hire an intern, right? Like that is kind of the missed opportunity. I think the community manager is way underappreciated, underinvested in, and really aren't part of the right conversations. Because if you want that person to be the face of your company, to help tell your story, to understand your value proposition, shouldn't they be in those meetings and have a say in what's going on? And I think empowering that community manager is key. I think the brands that understand that are going to turn their community managers into the rock stars they already are for their brand. Let them get on this platform. Let them use the brand account right here, right? Give me the SAP. Give me the Samsung account. Let me as the community manager, because you're already allowing me and trusting me to be the face of the company. Allow me to get on here, engage, and provide value, because that trust is key, and a great community manager should be invested in and trusted. And if you trust them, why would you not allow them to use a tool like this? And so I love the idea of collaboration. I would love to see a brand get on Blab and have a product manager on here, have a customer service person on here, and have a customer on here and say, hey, I would love for you guys to tell us about our product, and have the entire conversation happen in this Blab. Because really, if you want to create a great product, shouldn't you listen to your great customers? And I think that's kind of a start for a lot of these brands, but it starts with trust. And I will tell you, the key for me is I call it 3 T's, and I say it all the time: trust, training, and tools, and it's in that order. Do not flip that order. Do not start with a tool and then blame a community manager. It starts by trusting them, training them, and then the tool. And I think that's where the game is at. But great.
Give that man mad props. You're going to need to lengthen your slogan. It's going to be talk fast, tweet faster, blab even faster.
Yeah, I know. I get, especially when
like
I
a
get
machine.
excited. It's
hey,
like,
Jed, how's it going?
He is a blab machine. You are killing it, Fanzo. Killing it.
Thank you, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Joel. This is I love every blab you're on, Joel. So you're the man.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to contribute to the conversation we were having earlier about trying to see the future and all that. And I think a lot of us here agree Blab is the direction of the future. Maybe it's not the future, right? There'll always be the next app. But I've seen a lot of video and mobile crossovers, and I feel like that's a huge opportunity, and one that's going to expand beyond just Periscope, Meerkat, and Blab. And, Brian has mentioned, and I'm putting it in a link in there in the comments, the Beam app that Casey Neistat has come out with. And I think these niche apps that do mobile and video are really going to find a little home. I don't know that any one of them is going to blow up and take it all, but there's another one called My Eye.
Wait. I don't get Beam. I don't get it. I tried it.
But Joel, it's not for everybody. I don't think Beam is my deal, but I know people using it. They're not in my group, but they
tell people what it is. Since you mentioned it, go ahead and really just synopsize what Beam is.
Okay, so Beam is taking a little bit on Periscope and adding the twist that when you hit record, you can't see the screen. So the idea is you hold it like against your chest or something, and it starts recording whatever you're doing, right? So it's wanting to get you to kind of drop the veil on making something that's performance based and just coming reality based.
So let's see, the most boring thing that is happening in your life is basically.
Well, but I mean, to your point,
not everyone's life is as boring as yours, though, Joel.
And here's the thing. I mean, transparency is on the rise because trust is on the rise, right? Isn't that and I think, I mean, we're proving it right now. Why do people really engage and find so much value in live streaming? It oftentimes is just the fact that they want to look somebody in the eye and know that they are true to their word. And I think Beam, I mean, to me, Beam, the IP, the intellectual property of Beam is insane. The fact that proximity beacon inside of there, I would still like a preview because I don't even know what I share, right? Like, I'm like, wait a second, how do I not even know what I share? And but like, I think you have another good point, Jen. I think it's probably where you're getting to because you and I talk a lot. But I love that these apps are going to find niches and find unique audiences because I think too many people today are. Oh,
you're
is
good.
that me? Okay,
you're good.
I think too many people today are focused on, hey, what does this tool do for me? No, what does it do that I can reach a new audience or connect with my existing audience? And to me, that's the game changer with eyes. Like I think my eye is a gap between Snapchat and Periscope. And no, I can't find a great use case for me to use it. But Alexa Carlin, who I love on Periscope, is blowing up on my eye because she does an extended version of a Snapchat. And her audience is killing it. So for me, I don't look at my eye as a failure. It just, for me, it hasn't fit in my workflow. So I think it's a great point, Jed. The connection of mobile, video, real time, and authenticity is the future of these apps.
I love that niche. I think it's going to expand. And the last piece before I go is the unicorns that we talk about. These startups that just explode and to capture all of the market, like an Uber. That is a once in a lifetime or once in a million event. And the reality is there's going to be hundreds and hundreds of apps and programs and opportunities for companies to fill a niche. And I think that's the reality of it. There may be one that's the big YouTube of them all, right? But that's not the end game. The end game is filling all of those other niches that are opportunities out there. So I think the end will be hundreds of apps meeting all kinds of different needs and serving all kinds of different.
Thanks, Jed.
I think our friend Funky Fairy brought up a good point. I think chasing shiny objects is fine, but for me, I don't see. I think it's not good for people to jump around without sitting around and understanding where their audience and their community is. The reason I'm wearing a Meerkat shirt is I still love Meerkat. I might not be using it as much as I was in the past, but it is a platform I still believe in and see a future in. So for me, even though I kind of jump at shiny objects, I think it is important to realize. I mean, let's remember, Joel, when we were hanging out in December in New York, right? Or we were hanging out these apps didn't even exist. We couldn't Blab, we couldn't Periscope, we couldn't Meerkat. That's how new this was, that a year ago we couldn't do this kind of cool thing. So to me, I think that's just kind of an important caveat. But what's up, Claire?
Great to see you on here. Joel, thanks for getting me on here. And Brian, it was great to see you a couple times here in Phoenix, and obviously great to see you crushing it on here. So when you're talking about some of the analytics and ROI earlier, obviously, that's something that's very, very early in what we have going on here. But where do you see what will be viewed as analytics for something like a Blab or any of these streaming video things, platforms? And how do you also really foresee it to be measured in an ROI point of view of things where it would be easily shown to executives to show, hey, what we're doing here, we're not only building up our respective community here, but this is how it's impacting you in a money point of view of things.
Great, good question. I'm going to let him answer that and let you listen, Claire, while we let somebody else in. Go.
That's a great question. So for me, it's what Periscope came out, and Periscope won me over with the idea they don't really care about total number of viewers. They care about more like minutes watched. Right. And they really want to know captured attention and people consuming content. So for me, yes, it's great that we've had 412 total people in this room, but I would love to know what the average watcher's time is, how long they were engaged. I would love to know when they were engaged and when they decided to eject, right? All of those analytics, for me, it's about captured attention, and then it's about providing value, because here's the deal. I don't care how many hearts you get on Periscope if one person is giving you 40,000 hearts. I would rather have 15 engaged watchers that watch my entire Periscope than 30 ones that bounce in and out, right? And I think it's that combination of unique viewers, but also time consumed. And I think that is an essential key. And I think people that do a great job creating great content and hosting great shows. Joel, you've done a great job of getting people in and out of their seat. We're still getting used to this audience. It's tough to be a host. I love being a host, but you and I have been doing this kind of role offline, online for a long while, right? That exactly right there. We invest in it, but I think it's going to take a while for people to embrace it and understand. There you go. I need one of those.
I want to respect your time. We're keeping it here to an hour. We'll do an after show for those that want to stick around. If you can, Brian, feel free to. If not, you guys can chat with me and we'll have conversation. But Brian, apart from here, Blab and Periscope, where else do you want people to connect with you?
So I'm relaunching my website at the end of the week. So isocialfans.com is going to have a whole brand new look. I am building out a training class for turning Twitter users to power users. So both for the average personal brand, but also for those that are in the employee advocacy game, that you want your employees to be better on Twitter and not just be those that, kind of lost in the Twitter fire hose. So for me, it's all iSocial fans everywhere. I preach consistency is the most important element of personal branding. So iSocial fans everywhere. But to Joel Comm's point, also make sure you lock down your first name, last name. So I'll put a redirect on brianfanzo.com. I actually already sent the message over to make sure that I'm going to have access to that account so that I can put brianfanzo.com back up and put a redirect on. So yeah, iSocial fans everywhere. Twitter is the number one place for me.
Well, Mark just posted a meme. I'm going to see if I can pull it in here to share it on the big screen with everybody using my ManyCam. There we go, and boom. Can't quite see the whole thing on there because it's ManyCam.
Oh, so cool,
but it says,
cool.
forget real time, give it to me at the right time. I'm digging that. That's cool. Instantly meme. Brian Fanzo, thank you, my brother, for jumping on and bringing the knowledge as I knew you would. Do you have another show that you want people to follow you on here on Blab?
So yeah, I do 2 Twitter chats and that are blab chats now. Social Business Hour every single Monday at 4 p.m. I co-host it with Rachel Miller. We talk about all kinds of social business topics. We talked about live streaming this month. Last month we talked about the power of Instagram for social selling. This month coming up, we're gonna have a whole bunch of new shows. So Monday at 4, and then Thursdays at noon. Daniel Newman and I co-host a show called Cloud Talk on Blab as well. So Newman. So every Thursday and every Monday. And I actually have a special show. I'll put the link in the show notes real quick. But I actually am interviewing someone from a company called TaxSpace. And I believe they were in the show earlier. But it's the founder of a new technology that's really about this messaging that isn't text messaging. And I could even see the future of text messaging disappearing thanks to technology that is really kind of changing the way that we kind of engage, the way that we send messages. And so I'm going to interview the founder tomorrow. The link is right there. So if you guys could subscribe to that and check it out, I promise you it's going to be some unique content. You're going to hear some, from really unique ways that we're going to leverage wearable technology. They have a wearable technology. They're doing an Indiegogo campaign. And I can tell you what, it's exciting. And that's what Blab's about. I want to interview the founder and let him hear his story. Hear a little bit about the technology and hopefully make people aware of some cool wearable technology.
That's awesome. And you guys know I do the Joel Comm Show here, which actually gets recorded and put into my podcast on iTunes because it's so easy to do. And with Vincenzo Landino, Blab Talk Live happens several nights a week. And we've got the one and only Spencer Pratt from the Hills that's going to be joining us tomorrow night. The link is right there in the show notes if you want to subscribe. It should be interesting because Spencer and his wife Heidi Montag have been quite the tabloid fodder. So stick around for the after show ending the Joel Comm Show.